Hello and welcome to our 5 on 5. I'm joined today by Democratic candidate for U.S. Congress Val Hoyle, running for Oregon's 4th District. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Now, you're currently the Oregon Labor Commissioner, but why are you the right Democrat to succeed longtime Congressman Peter DeFazio?
My husband and I moved here to Lane County over 20 years ago to raise our children, and we came here based upon the quality of life and the education system. And as soon as I got here, I got involved in my community first, as in PTO, and then helping, pass bond measures and helping organize, our local Democratic Party, getting people elected. I had the honor of being elected to the legislature to represent West Eugene and Junction City in 2010. So that's a rural sort of blue collar district in Lane County, and served in the legislature for 7 years, representing this area and doing a lot of great things, raising the minimum wage, passing paid sick leave, a whole lot of other really important things. And then I ran for labor commissioner, where I've served the whole state. And I love this job. But when Congressman DeFazio decided to retire, what I knew was we needed a strong voice for our community, who understood our community, would stand up for working people, who could win the seat. And quite frankly, I see right now we could be on the verge of losing our democracy, and this is not a time that I'm going to sit on the sidelines.
Now, what is your biggest accomplishment in serving as Oregon's Labor Commissioner?
So my biggest accomplishment in serving as Oregon's labor commissioner is making sure that the agency was more accessible to both vulnerable workers and to businesses who are following the law. We implemented strategic enforcement so that, we could help people who just didn't know the law and hold bad actors accountable, leveling the playing field for those businesses who are doing the right thing. We also did better outreach to workers all across the state. For instance, in Southern Oregon specifically, we now have a full-time apprenticeship representative. We're starting a professional firefighter apprenticeship. We also we will be having people that will investigate housing discrimination, but in all parts of the state. As the majority leader of the House from Lane County, what I really saw was that a lot of Democrats in the legislature came from the Portland metro area, and we needed that downstate voice. So bottom line is, labor commissioner, expanding apprenticeship both inside and outside the building and construction trades, holding bad actors accountable, helping vulnerable workers and outreaching to them better, and supporting those businesses who follow the law.
All right, Val. Well, thank you so much for your insight. We'll be right back after this break with some more questions. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. We're joined today by Democratic candidate for U.S. Congress Val Hoyle. Now, what would be your first priority if elected to Congress?
Well, my first priority is to get elected to Congress, right? So what people need to understand is that even though in redistricting, this district is a little bit better, this is still going to be a tough seat to hold. And part of that is because it's a very diverse district. We have 2 very progressive college towns. We have the entire Oregon coast that had 5 elected Democrats 4 years ago, and now there's 1. But in the legislature, if elected to Congress, what I want to do is focus on infrastructure and investment that will create jobs and apprenticeships. The bottom line is, Peter DeFazio endorsed me in this race because he knows I can be a strong voice, whether it's for making sure that we get the new container port and offshore wind in Coos Bay, to having a levee in Springfield, to working to make sure that we're ready for the next fire season so that we don't have the kind of damage that we had, previously. I lived in a fire affected area, as do all of you. And I think this is really critical and important. Bottom line is, we have to address climate change head on and do it in a way that doesn't leave workers behind. Those are some of my priorities.
Now, touching on a specific project, the Jordan Cove Energy Project was scrapped by developers last year, but you previously supported the project. Why is that?
So at the time, 7 years ago, I believed what a number of people believed, which was that natural gas would be a good transition fuel away from coal. But the bigger thing is, I have worked with people on the South Coast for a long time, and what they said they needed were jobs. This would have been 6,000 good paying jobs. The Jordan Cove project is dead, and I have been clear that I will not support any new fossil fuel infrastructure. I do not take fossil fuel money in my campaign. And the reason that I have the support of everyone from the League of Conservation Voters and Jeff Merkley to Caddy McEwen and leaders in Coos and Curry County is people know that I will stand up for good jobs, that I will fight to make sure that we're addressing climate change, and that I'm the person that can get things done because I can go into, I'm trusted in a room full of people in the building trades as well as to people in the environmental movement. Again, it's why I've received the endorsement of former Representative Peter Buckley and Representative Pam Marsh, who are strong climate advocates, as well as the working people in every single union who's endorsed in this race.
All right, Val. Well, thank you again so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Okay.
We'll be right back after this break.